Hi guys, welcome to the video. I'm Joe Cercelli. Today I want to show you how to set up your overhead webcam putting for GS Pro. So for everybody that's been struggling with the webcam setup, as far as using tripods and other things like that, I didn't want to set up the tripod. I tried it. I didn't like it. My son's left-handed, so it didn't really work out for both of us to play. So I wanted to set up an overhead webcam putting. All right, so my overhead webcam setup, this is set up about 6.5 feet above, so you can see with my hand up here about how high that is off the ground. Seems to work pretty good. My camera does have a little bit of zoom, the NB power, so I can track the ball pretty good with this webcam. This is the NB power webcam that I used. You can just buy this on Amazon. The USB cable for the camera I bought on Amazon as well. So I have this attached to basically a garage door opener angle iron, basically just to support it to the roof. As you can see here, I put a bolt right through the hinge because when the door opened, the hinge was moving too much. So to get a nice sturdy setup, I put a bolt right through everything so I could align the camera properly. Something else you're going to need is really good lighting. So that's another reason why a lot of people struggle, is they don't have a good enough lighting. I didn't want to set up a light close to the green near where I was putting, so I got a nice pin camera here that we bought on Amazon. So I'm using the MLM2 Pro software that a lot of guys use to connect different launch monitors. This is, so I got the Garmin R10, so that's why I need this putting set up. And this is kind of just showing our setup here. All right guys, so now that we know what the equipment is we're using, you've got your webcam set up there. You have your pin light. You can see my pin light here, my putting area. I'm going to show you how to set this up within the GS Pro software. There's lots of videos on how to get your ball to track in that and the color of ball that you want to use. I'm using an orange ball. You can use different colors. So I'm just going to show you how I set up my distance within the GS Pro software. So you can see on the left of my screen here, I got my rectangle, so my range of ball there, pretty small, and I have it fully at the back of my circle. So when I put my ball in here, I got a lot of lit area for it to track through. So basically I'm showing, I got a tape measure set here. I know my screen is about 9'6" to the screen to where my ball is sitting. So I can take some practice shots here, and I have it set within the GS Pro software at 9'6" right now. So I'll take a putt. I'm going to try to play it a little bit short, and we'll see. We want to make sure that it shows up a little bit short here. So it's that circle, I think, set up for about 5 feet. So we shot about a 5-foot putt there. So we'll try another one. I'm going to try to get this a little bit closer to the hole. So we're really close there. Now, if you're finding that your distance is out quite a bit, the way to adjust that is within your screen here on the right-hand side. Your radius there, that number there that I have set at 3 right now. That's where you adjust how far the ball is going to track. So let's change that to like a 10, and we'll see what happens. So I changed the radius from a 3 to a 10. And we're just going to try to bump that screen because that's where I know that mine works pretty good when I have the radius set. So ball basically traveled about 10 feet, but within GS Pro barely moved there. So we're going to bring that down a bit. We'll bring it down to 1. We'll see what happens when we play the same distance. So you can see it played about 30 feet past the hole. Now I know from just playing around here, I know from experience of setting mine up that my radius, if I have it set at 3, that I'm pretty close. And then to fine tune that, you can always fine tune it with your stimp, with your green stimp within your game. So I play a stimp 11 because I know a radius of 3 will get me really close, but a stimp 11 will get me really accurate. So this is set up to a 3 now, and it should play pretty close to the hole. So there we go. Just short of the screen. So I know that I'm set pretty good there. So guys, if you want to adjust the distance of where your ball's sitting in your practice mode for your setup on your screen, I know that when I set up my tape measure here, I'm about 9'6", but for your setup, it could be different. So you can lay out your tape measure. I'll show you, you can go into practice mode here. I'm just on the GS Pro practice facility in practice mode. When you go in practice mode, you can move the position of the ball and then just do your test shots at a distance that you can predict here. So you just hit this ball, and then I can move this. So now we're at about a 5'9" shot. We'll set this up, let the ball get picked up. So I pushed that a little bit right, and it read it. And I hit a little bit over 6 feet, so it's obviously read that correctly as well. The overhead webcam setup seems to work really, really good. It tracks your vertical launch angle or your horizontal launch angle really good. And it also seems to track distance pretty accurately. So you can see I pulled that slightly. So this camera that I'm using, the MB Power, is capable of 160 or 120 frames per second, but I have it set at 60 frames per second. Seems to hold 60, pretty close, 57, 50. It's you need close to 60 frames per second to pick up. So there we go. Okay guys, so I'm going to show you that it does pick up your angle pretty well. So I'll intentionally pull this one to the left so you can kind of see. So you can see I hit that one about 10 feet and it went about really close to 5 feet past. We'll try to get this one down the middle. There we go. So that wraps up the video, guys. If you have any other questions, you can just ask me in the comments, send your questions, like the video if you found this helpful. And any way I can try to help, just let me know in the comments and I'll try to get your questions answered. Thanks.